we all know that Asia Pacific, right, is a geographic function only, and there's very little similarity between some of the markets in there. I think apps don't necessarily do that. I mean, the way that you design an app in Japan would not necessarily be the way that you designed it in India. To be useful to a Japanese consumer versus an Indian consumer, it might not be the same. So no, I don't think apps per se do that. I think you've got to understand consumers at the right level. You know, if you're in China, you have to understand the difference between a tier 1 city and a tier 5 city consumer, and try and find something that's going to be useful for everybody. So I don't think apps necessarily bring people closer together, but the idea of doing something useful for the consumer, which is built from the ground up, then I think that does. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with mobile payments. I know there's been a lot of discussion about mobile payments, and up to now in developed markets, in developing markets, there's a lot of people doing a lot of interesting things. But in developed markets, I think there's a lot of consumer barriers, and I think a lot of consumers not understanding what the need is. Don't think anyone's demonstrated the need yet, and it'll be very interesting to see who's going to come forward, show the need, show the benefit, and get mobile payments into the forefront of people's mind. So I think that's going to be the next big trend that we're going to have a look at. Outside of that, I think behavioral economics. I think behavioral economics, understanding the reason why people behave in the way that they do, is going to be fundamental to both creative and to media agencies. And I think a lot more focus on that discipline needs to be that has been the case today.